Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by
The Org Boss. The Org Boss is a residential and commercial organizing company that specializes in decluttering, interior design, inventory staging, business processing documentation, and more. Reach the Org Boss today at 832-617-0624 or send an email to info@theorgboss.com.
True Digital Media Consulting. You're online right now and so are your customers, but marketing has to be a consistent journey. True Digital Media Consulting can help with your online ads, organic growth, and so much more. Contact us today at 832-934-4436 or visit our website at truedigitalmediaconsulting.com.
Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789.
Hey, yo, what's good, my peeps, and welcome to Startup Masters. That's right. If you are thinking about starting a business or if you even have a business and you are tired of skinning your knee up to the white meat, we a team no white meat over here. You know why? It's because we have the dopest guests that come and share all of their gems, their jewels, so you don't have to make the same mistakes that us around this table have done. I'm your girl, Kiley, also known as KG. You can follow me on the gram or for my corpreneur, my business folks on LinkedIn, as well as Facebook at KOG Speaks. And you can also find me at Kiley. You might have to Google that a little bit and see what my name is spelled right here. But you also can catch me for my YouTubers, KOG Speaks. And boy, I'm on a 10. I'm on a 10, G.
I see you on a 10. The funny part, you like, I ain't even gonna spell my name for y'all.
I ain't gonna do it. You just look
see
at
what
it.
happens.
Just see what happens. Just look.
Just see what happens.
Because it's too much of the alphabet.
There it is. What's up, good people? Welcome back to Startup Masters. I am your co-host, Gary Lee, also known as G Hawkins. Now, look, you can find me anywhere online: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snappity Chatting at G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with a Z. And welcome back to the dopest podcast in the land. As KG mentioned, we always have the great entrepreneurs, the great people that have put in the due diligence, their 10,000 hours to take their business to the next level. And guess what? We're giving this to you so that you don't have to skin your knee up to the white
Team
meat.
no white
Team
meat.
no white meat. We stay on that. So, without further ado, let's dive right into today's show,
Let's
KG.
do it.
Now the dude came in with energy.
No.
So I'm
Like-
excited. I may be able to sit back and bump and
Listen.
recline this show.
Listen, I'm almost certain. I can't bet my paycheck, but
Okay.
I'll bet a portion
Talk
of it.
about it, co-preneur.
That this guest, I met this fella 3 years ago
Something like that.
at an Urban League event. I'm
Okay.
working for my corporate job.
Sure.
He was working for his vision.
Hey, you better talk about
He
it.
was looking for a way to be able to help people save to get out of debt. Not just any debt, student loan debt.
The silent killer.
The killer.
That's what I'm gonna call it.
death
The
of
silent
us.
killer.
And the thing that I loved about this fella is I watched him move.
Yeah.
It was a no, but he kept moving.
Yeah.
Year after year after year.
Mhm.
Bumped into him at a pitch competition.
Okay.
He's also known as the pitch king
Pitch king.
in
Hey.
these circles because he knows how to get that seed money. I can't keep talking about it. You got to get them for yourself. Without further ado, my man, my homie, Kiley Summers, CEO and founder of Spendebt. What's good, Kiley?
Good evening. Good evening. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate y'all having
so
me on the
happy
show.
we appreciate having you.
Man, that was a great intro. I need to take y'all on a road
Hey,
show.
we
with
could
me.
do
yeah,
that.
Come
For a
on.
bit of that
We could do
equity.
that.
For a bit of that
Better
equity.
talk about it. Invoice coming.
Oh yeah, you definitely need a team.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate y'all having me on the show. Let's get to it. What's up?
We're gonna do that. So what we like to do on this show is
Okay.
take our people, our visionaries that are watching, take them on this journey, this entrepreneur journey that you've been on, right? So we're gonna hop in a DeLorean. We're gonna hit 88, head back into time, and we want to talk about the past, what you've gone through, the trials, the tribulations. We want to talk about where you're at today in the present
Okay.
and what you've brought to the table. Then of course we need to talk about that 5, 10, 20-year plan
Okay.
to see what the future outlook truly looks like. You ready to do this?
Oh, let's go.
Let's roll.
Let's go.
All right. So let's roll back into time. Talk to the people, Kiley. Talk to us at this table. Invite us into your home, into your dreams, your imaginations. Invite us into the past when you say, you know what? I want to save these college students. What was going on in your life, man?
Man, I need to take y'all back to the day I was born.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
But yeah. So I always tell people that ask that question is like, how did you get started on this journey?
Yeah.
And I'm 34 now, so I tell them it's 34 years of living. It's
Talk
trials
about it.
and tribulations, right? So growing up, single parent home, I had 3 brothers, a middle of three boys, and I watched my mom. She went to work for us. She made sure that she provided, and so just watching that and then going to college, graduating, becoming first generation, it's like, okay, I have arrived. Electrical engineering degree.
Mama, I made
You know
it.
what I mean?
Mama,
I
I
made it, right? You know what I'm saying? So it was like, but a year later, I found myself in $70,000 worth of debt.
Sound about right.
Right. So, but 30
Engineering degree, yeah.
yeah, right. 30 of it was student loan debt, though. So on top of graduating, getting this job, having a student loan debt, I went out, got the vehicle,
Got to get the whip.
got to get the whip, right? And then the TVs came, furniture, right? And I racked up this bill, and I looked up. A year later, I'm 70 large in
What
the
happened?
hole.
How
In
did
the
I get
hole.
here?
So when you talk about that journey, it's one, you watching how you grew up, and then it's that pain that you experience, and so just having that in the back of my mind, it's like, look, thinking back, in 2007 or 2008 when I, saw the bills come through, it's like, okay, I can't keep living my life like this. I got to do something different. Wait a minute. Exactly. So it's like, okay, let me make a conscious effort to start paying this debt down.
Yeah.
And so, you research people like Dave Ramsey, Susan Orman, so on and so forth. So just kind of created that plan, had some, mentors, some people in the financial space that, helped me organize the debt. And, fast forward to 2015, my wife, me and my wife, we was able to pay off all the cars, the credit cards, student loan debt, just by, really doing the manual process of what I've created Spendebt to be, but putting a little extra on every bill that we had, the snowball effect. And it really just, it kind of helped knock all of that debt off. And that really kind of gave us the jump start. There's some other things that, that happened in within the story as well. But that was really kind of the biggest hurdle that we had to get over, right? Because if you got debt, you talk about the trials and tribulations, working a 9 to 5. I mean, you gotta serve that debt as a master. You gotta pay. It doesn't go away. You're not gonna get money from anywhere. So that was kind of the one big hurdle that we wanted to make sure that we cleared, because like I told you, how I grew up was really tough, and I watched my mom, work hard. So I didn't want to fall in that same suit.
Sometimes we and I've identified this in my own household, right? Is I got into debt early on because I saw my mom getting in debt, and it wasn't like, oh my God, I got debt. It was like, like writing a check every month, like it wasn't nothing. So it was like almost the norm. Was that your same experience as well?
I don't know if it was that more than it's like you come out of school, you got this good salary, I can live a little bit.
Yeah.
And so as I was racking up debt, it's like I can pay for it, I can afford it.
Right.
But
that's what we get tricked.
You begin to take on so much of it, and it's like now you maxed out your capacity.
Yep.
And then now you stuck with it. It ain't going away. So you
not making the minimum.
Exactly. So at that point it's like, look, I need to do something about this. So I early on I skinned my knee to the white meat, as you guys called it. I skinned my knee to the white meat, and it was some tough lessons. You pay for an expensive car, and I didn't even get a Lexus or a BM or a Benz. You know what I mean? It was just it was a nice car, but that was probably the worst mistake I could have made, because at that moment it taught me the value of $1.
Man.
Yeah, and so everything else, just added on to the debt, and then we just kind of worked it off. We created that plan, and we worked that plan. So shout out to my wife. You always got to have that, that team member that's gonna pull you.
Listen.
You're gonna pull them, and it's always good to have a good woman behind you. So, shout out to my wife.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about some of the mechanics, or the opportunities to pay off debt. You mentioned a snowball effect.
Yep.
Dive a bit deeper, peel that onion back a little bit, like KG likes to say, for some of our viewers, for some of the people that are tuned in right now in their car because they're going through traffic. What were some of those key principles that you put into place that moved you out of that place of debt?
So I'm a former athlete, and what they always say, if you don't know the score, you can't change the score.
Change the score.
All right. So when you get into holes, or like you say, KG, when you grew up, you were just writing a check or put it on a credit card, and you just kind of walk away, like whatever. A lot of people are scared to face reality.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is, you spent the money, you got to pay for it, right?
Just
it's
that
almost like
simple.
crime, right? You do the crime, you got to do the
You gotta
time.
do time.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's just a matter of just taking one step at a time. Step one is understanding what your opportunities are.
Mm-hmm.
The opportunity being, hey, what debt do I have? Being able to put it on paper, right? As it's going to be painful if you haven't looked at it at all. It's going to be very painful. So really just documenting all your debt, lining them all up, good, bad, and the ugly, right? And then, put the interest rate next to them. Put the total amount next to them. And then you order them by, if you want to do the snowball effect, the smallest debt down to the largest.
Yeah.
And begin to pay the minimums on all of them but the top one, and put all the extra money on that first one. And then once you pay the first one off, you take the little extra and you apply it to the second one. You go from the second one to the third one. That's how you snowball it until you get to your largest debt, right? It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. It took me almost 8 years. My wife and I, almost 8 years to pay off all this stuff. But we constantly worked at it. And that's what you have to do. You have to, one, know the score before you can change the score. And that you got to go dig it up.
Y'all boys better put a pin
Listen,
in that right
Listen,
there.
we're going to put a pin,
Hey.
and we're going to unpin it as soon.
Hey, go ahead.
As soon, because I already got something else going for that one.
Mm-hmm.
But, one that I was thinking about is, in order for you to do all that, it not only takes discipline, but it also takes organization.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. 100.
And if you're good at Excel or you're not good at Excel, you still need to be organized in that
Absolutely.
piece. But there's another thing that we can consider being organized in our business. And it just so happens that this portion of the show is sponsored by our good friends over at the Org Boss. Has the clutter in your home or office gotten out of hand? Are you sick and tired of spending way too much time trying to find the things you need on a daily basis? If so, then give the Org Boss a call so that she can help you create organized, functional systems that match your personal lifestyle. The Org Boss is a residential and commercial organizing company that specializes in decluttering, home staging, interior design, space planning, inventory staging, and business process documentation for growing businesses looking to formally document their procedures. Call the Org Boss today at 832-617-0624 or send an email to info@theorgboss.com. That's info@theorgboss.com. Shout out to our friend of the show, V.
Yep. Happy belated birthday, V.
Happy belated V. So let's get back to this, because I had an aha moment working in corporate where this gentleman of a different descent came in. He was executive for a bank in oil and gas. I'm sure you can figure out what descent that was. He had $1 million in his CD. And I asked him, how did you get $1 million? This was back when CDs were paying 5%.
Yeah.
How did you amass $1 million in a CD?
Yeah, it's crazy.
He said, when my son was born, he was 18, about to graduate from college, every bonus that I received went to the CD.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that moment, I realized, like, wow, that's not what we do. That's not what we do. We go
At all.
out. We don't go out and we live off of our bonus. Like, we already spending it before we even get it in a bank
Balling
account.
out of control.
Right?
That is
Guilty
balling
as charged.
backwards.
Guilty as charged. So was that a part of some of the snowballing effect? Like, where did the extra come from? Because I'm guessing some people are probably like, wait, man, well, did you have some extra money come in? Did you pick up a side job? Like, what was
the... You said it earlier. It's about organization, but then it's about discipline too. right? So it's really understanding, okay, what I have going in versus what I have going out. And come on, we all have a little bit of extra, right? We all got that little bit of extra income that we going out to
Discretionary.
eat with. Discretionary spending, right? So we have our vices.
Yeah.
But if you begin to analyze your bank statement and you just add up that Whataburger here, that Chick-fil-A, let me get my nails done. Guys, let me go to the mall and grab some Jordans, right? You start to add up all those expenses. And you're like, man, that's $500. That's $750. That's $1,000.
Just take yourself out. Just go night-night.
Exactly. That's an extra $1,000. So or whatever you've spent, and so you take that little extra and you apply that extra, in the ways to help work that snowball down, right? It ain't easy. I'm not saying it like it was easy. It wasn't easy at all. But it was that focus and discipline and organization skills that kind of help with the process, right? You got to tell yourself no. Sometimes you got to do that. And I think you have to set, short-term goals too. Short-term goals would also help influence you and keep you motivated, because it's motivation behind it, because you don't need to deprive yourself. You're working hard.
Right.
You got to
That's
celebrate.
where you fall off the wagon.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it may be, hey, instead of going out to eat, 3 or 4 times a week, I'm just going to go, once on the weekend. We're going to go to a nice place on a Saturday, right? And that's it. And other time you just cook, you just got to manage a household like that.
Got to manage that household.
Yeah, got to manage the household.
So normally, we don't dive too deep into the financial aspects of things. We talk more entrepreneurial, but sometimes you got to get gems when gems fall. And I know there's somebody out there right now that's watching this, that's tuned in. You've got some debt that's kind of out of control, and you've got to find a way to get that debt under control. So please make sure you rewind the tape on this. You go back, get these gems, sow back into yourself by listening to Mr. Kiley Summers, so that you can be a better person when it comes to your debt. Now, Facebookers, I see you, Donna. I see you, Laurenette. Shout out to a la carte. Laurenette's one of the hosts over there. We love you. We support y'all. Thank you so much for continuing to tune in via Facebook. But we only go live for about 15, 20 minutes. So you've got to go subscribe. So head over to thesphere.tv/Startup Masters. And we've got options for you, folks. You can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spreaker. You can find us on Amazon Alexa and via the Spreaker app. So make sure you install that skill. And, of course, iHeartRadio. Now, while you're at any of those platforms, make sure you review us. Give us that constructive criticism so that we know how to create and continue to deliver better shows for you. And share this out with your family. Share it with your friends. Share it with your colleagues. Share it with your loved ones. Share it with a college student that's racking up debt right now. Share it with your haters. Share it with anyone and everyone out there that needs this information. And last but not least, if you truly love what we're doing, sow a seed. Go to thesphere.tv/donate. We've got a couple of options for you. You can donate right on the website for a one-time donation, or you can become a Patreon subscriber and get exclusive content that's just for you. So, once again, we're going to shut down Facebook Live for now. Make sure to tune in to us and subscribe right here at The Sphere. So, good sir, moving forward to today, y'all done cleared the debt out.
Yep.
You got that right thing by your side, so she's holding you down, supporting, sewing into the vision. And here comes Spendebt. Talk to us about where you're at today with Spendebt, as well as some of the hurdles getting this off the ground.
So today we are happy, but not satisfied. But we are happy that we have just recently launched our beta.
Nice.
Beta 1.0. We launched it at the beginning of this year. So for all the visitors or listeners out there, you guys can go to www.spendebt.com, to SPENDEBT.com, and check us out. Please subscribe to us, and also, get a profile with us, so we can help you pay off your debt one micropayment at a time. But, so to think about where we at today, it's amazing. KG talked about, I hit her a couple years ago, when we had the vision and we were looking to put all the pieces together. So this vision, really came from God. I can't take credit for this. God did this. In 2015, I actually let me rewind a little bit and kind of give you the timeline. 2014, I lost my dad to a massive stroke.
Sorry to hear that.
That's all right. I appreciate it. In the top of 2015, I told my wife it's gonna be a year of faith. 2015, year of faith. Didn't know what that meant. I was still gigging, at Frito-Lay, as an engineer. But I was doing well. I was on my second mid-level manager role. I was like, man, I'm ready to do something different. After taking care of my dad for 30 days before he dies, like, I'm going to go take care of families. So my wife was like, pregnant, mind you. She was like, quit your job. And I was like, yeah, I was like, huh?
Yeah.
She's like, quit your job. So I was like, okay. And I really didn't know what I wanted to do. This home care thing was just it. So I did. And I began the quest to develop this business plan for this home healthcare business. June of 2015, this idea just kind of dropped in my ear. I listened to it, talked to a few people, and they was like, man, that's a silly idea. I can remember the 2 people I called. I called 3 people. I called a developer that I know, and then I called two of the guys I often talk to. And they was like, man, I don't think that's gonna work. I was like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna keep following this home care idea. Went to the Urban League August of that year, took a class, and I built my business plan on the home health care. And in my back pocket, I was building the business plan for Spendebt. So by the time of October of 2015, I was like, let me just take a shot. So I called out to Silicon Valley. I was like, look, I'm looking to build an app. Can y'all build it for me? Guy was like, $300,000.
Like wildin'.
Wait, huh?
Wildin'.
So what now?
$300,000. And I said,
Sir, I just got out of debt.
Is that in yen? Is that in yen? I mean, what currency is
Peso,
that?
hopefully. Peso.
so he said,
Dinar?
he say $300,000, and I was like, oh, so I can get 2 apps. I can get the iOS and the Android. He was like, no, that's just for one.
Wildin'.
And I was like, okay. And so then after that, he was like, but what you building? And so I began to explain to him my idea. He was like, that's pretty neat. He said, if you can answer these 7 questions, then I know you're serious. So he asked me a list of 7 questions. At the time he was asking the questions, I'm writing every question down. I had answers, but I just said, hey, I'll just take all the questions and, I'll hit you back tomorrow with the answers. Sure enough, I did that. The next day I called him, boom. I said, I got the answer to your 7 questions. Answer those 7 questions. He said, hey, you're serious? And I think you got some IP. You should let us build the app for us. At that moment, I was like, okay, I'm not talking to nobody else. I need to figure out what this IP he talking about is.
Yeah, that's your intellectual property.
You hear me? So in November that year, my wife and I'm a visionary. My wife is the integrator. We built a simulator in Excel based on some of the things that we had in the head, and it worked. And so I submitted for some intellectual property IP for the provisional patent at the time. And after that, it was lights out. And so top of 2016 came, applied for the LLC. Then we began to look for developers that we can afford. Because $300,000, that was like buying another house.
Indeed.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's not just any house.
Exactly. You hear me? We could build one from the ground up at that price.
Right.
So that was kind of the focus. And so we actually just use our network, and I found a developer that was going to work with my bootstrapping budget because we was balling on the budget. March, April that year, we began kind of initial plans and developing. I'm thinking like, you know what? I'm gonna have this thing cranked out by the end of 2016. I'm cool. That ain't how it worked. We just kept bumping into issues. So I needed somebody to help me process payments because I'm not a payment processor. I don't have my license. I mean, about being in the banking industry. And so I probably went to 20 banks and processing companies here in Houston. And as they all liked the idea, nobody wanted to touch it because of the risk, and they wouldn't mess with it. And so getting that door slammed in your face over and over again, right? So no don't mean no. No means what? Next opportunity.
Come on.
Right? You know what I mean? So it just kind of made me hungrier. What blessed me in it all, let me tell you, what blessed me in it all was the fact that I learned how to pitch. From the very first one I pitched to the second, I picked up something. And so it was practice.
Yep.
It was practice in the no and getting to that next opportunity. It sucked, but it helped me. And so, finally when we pitched to Capital One was like, okay, we'll take the risk. Nice. And, it was several attempts that, it was a long process. I had to go through AML, That's kind of money laundering for those that don't know, and anti-money laundering, I should say. And we went through that process with them, and they was partners on the back end. So just kind of going through kind of the rigmarole of getting told no, and just pitching your business over and over again, that helped me build as a young entrepreneur. So after we finally got the processing piece, it was like, okay, now we had one of the critical pieces to the puzzle. Now we got to integrate all of that. Well, on the bootstrapping budget, it's hard to build a financial technology platform. I don't care, what framework you building on. It's expensive, and there was some learning lessons that we had to overcome. And so, putting all those things together, building the first minimum viable product, letting people test it, getting feedback, going back to the drawing board. This ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. And it just kind of amassed to, a year and a half, 2 years, from 2016 to 2018. That's how long it took. And in the midst of that, right, we out raising capital. We putting money in. I committed $25,000 of my own money that I earned over, my 8-year career as an engineer. And then, all these pitch competitions, I was like, hey, I fit in here somewhere. I know I can win this 10,000 here or this 5,000. At least I'm gonna put my name in the hat.
It adds up.
It adds up. So that was that was the journey, really, to get where we are today. And being told no was probably one of the biggest things early on that I learned as an entrepreneur. And it doesn't mean no and it's over. It means next opportunity. So I took that as motivation. You look into the eyes of people, say, oh, we really want to help you, but it's like, okay, it's gotta keep going.
What I've learned is that those no's, it's just practice, and that's what you just described, right? But it just meant that we were sowing seeds in soil that wasn't fertilized for our dream. In the moment that is you sowed that seed into that fertilized soil, Capital One, it was like, like the stars aligned. But as you're out here taking all these shots, you running suicides on them boys.
Man, what?
You don't have time for marketing. You don't have time for the other aspects of this business. But you know who does? Our good friends over at True Digital. This episode is sponsored by the True Digital folks because you're online right now, and so are your customers. The question is, how do you actively reach them? Marketing has to be a consistent journey, and we're here to walk with you every step of the way. True Digital Media Consulting can help with website development, online ads, your business reputation, and organic growth on search engines. Give us a call today to discuss a customized strategy for your business at 832-934-4436, or send us an email to info@truedigitalmediaconsulting.com. Mention the Sphere to receive a 30-minute strategy consultation. That's right, free 30-minute strategy consultation, and all you have to do is say the Sphere.
There it is.
So talk to us a little bit more about, I want to unpack this a little bit more. So 2 years you were fundraising. 2 years you were out aligning the app with technology. Bootstrapping. How did you maintain the debt-free household?
So good question. From a risk standpoint, right? I didn't want to put my wife at risk. You know what I'm saying? So I carried all the weight. I mean, in the end of the day, we are one household. But all the money that I had worked for, I was like, okay, I'm going to use it. And that's what I committed. So I committed my money, but then at some point I was like, oh, I need more. And so the first competition that I ever entered into was the Miller Lite Tap the Future Business Plan competition. So this was a national competition. $20,000 if you win regionals, $200,000 if you win nationals. Bam. So I'm like, man.
You said it's Miller Lite?
Yeah, it's Miller Lite Tap the Future. So I'm like,
I may not drink it, but
exactly.
we've been enrolled.
Damon John was a celebrity judge, so I entered this competition. I was like, man, there's no way I'm gonna get into this competition. Lord behold, I get into the competition. I was like, okay, I got a shot at this $20,000.
Here it is.
My first ever pitch ever in the public forum. I felt like I nailed it, but I was shaky. I wasn't as confident. that taught me, the value. I didn't win the regional round. The team that I lost to was actually, they was the winner of the national competition. So I felt like I was. Yeah, if you gonna lose to the champ.
It's like, if I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna lose to MJ or Scotty.
The lesson I learned there is like I can compete. Not only I can compete locally or statewide, but I can compete national, maybe across the world. So at that point, it gave me confidence. So what I thought was a loss was, as Jay-Z say, it's not a loss, it's a lesson. It was a lesson for me. And tighten up on the things that you already have in place, and figure out those other things that's going to put you over the hump and get back out there. Right, you get knocked down, you got to get back up. And so I just began to apply for one competition one competition to the next, and $28,000 later.
Boom.
Yeah, $28,000 later.
Boom.
That's what's up.
Right. Plus other in-kind gifts that I haven't put a value. That $28,000 was all cash. I'm probably at $50,000 when you include all the in-kind prizes. So it's just been a blessed opportunity. So I committed 25, I won 28, and then I applied for the former Houston Technology Center Acceleration Program, and through the McNair Group, Bob McNair of the Houston Texans, the owner, he committed a $1 million endowment, and for every company who become a client member of HTC gets an opportunity for $25,000. So we took on that $25,000. So to date, we've taken on $78,000 of finance to move the company forward.
You gotta do what you gotta do
Yeah.
out there. So let me ask a question. While you're out here, you're pitching, you're moving the company forward, you're sowing seeds out into the world to bring your idea to life, right? What are you doing to sow back into self so that you stay recharged through all of this?
Well, talking to you before the show, you talked about passion. You talked about, I want to be able to give back, and this is your way of giving back and using this platform. So thank you, by the way.
Definitely.
And I think
I was like, shit, did I say that?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Sharing from the heart.
So when I talked about the vision came in 2015, in the year that we declared faith, this vision came from God. And when God write the check,
it ain't bouncing.
It ain't
kid.
bouncing nowhere.
you can take that to the bank. Right?
Okay.
It ain't gonna bounce.
all the zeros.
Exactly. So that's where the energy, the momentum, the encouragement, that's where it come from. That's my source. Along with my wife and my my 2-year-old daughter, going home every day, you got to look at them. It's like, I got to get back on it.
Yeah.
I have to get back on it. And so that's where my sense of source and comes from, and that keeps me motivated, because I'm not doing this for me. I tell my wife all the time, if I died today, hopefully I left something that you can pick up and could carry over the finish line to leave to our daughter, right? Or our daughter can pick it up and keep it moving.
Come on, legacy.
Right? It's all about legacy. Legacy.
Hey,
you know what I mean? Like
hey.
it's all about the legacy. When my dad passed, he's always tell us growing up, he says, when I die, I want all generational curses to die with me. Right? That's a powerful statement. It's a powerful statement.
Fire statement.
You know what I mean? He said, I want all generational curses to die with me. And I was like, wow. So for me, that meant I need to pass generational blessings on to my family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? And what however it looks.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be dollars.
It doesn't exactly. It could be knowledge.
Yep. So
Right?
the intangible.
Right. Because if you just have a little piece of knowledge, this young man behind the booth is what?
15
years old.
Yeah.
He learned how to work the board. Right? He may have his own media coming by the age of 20.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where most people just trying to figure out what they're trying to do in life. But he's getting exposed now. Exposure expands expectation. So the early weeks.
Somebody write that down.
Wait,
Somebody write that
Kylie.
down.
You gotta go back. You gotta circle
if you're
back.
in your car right
circle
now, you
back.
gotta pull over.
Circle
Write
back.
that down.
Circle
If you sit on the couch
back.
watching this, write that down.
One more time. Hit him with it one more
Exposure
time.
expands expectations.
There it is.
We have to be exposed.
That's
And-
going on Facebook. Come on.
And so and so for me, it's like how do I leave that legacy? Just being on this quest, just kind of being exposed now, having a platform, or just kind of sharing with people some of the things that happened along my journey. as people followed, people inboxed me. I had one gentleman, I would never ever forget this. He left me a message and he said, "We need you to win."
Wow.
We need you to win.
Mm.
And it just blew my mind. Like, out of everybody in the world, everybody doing whatever, he left me this message, and I carry that in my heart. So when you talk about what keeps me motivated, it's comments like that. It's the motivation. It's the likes. It's the hey, keep going. Congratulations. It's the pat on the back that you get from people because they genuinely want to see you do well.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
And so I appreciate all the support that I've ever gotten to this point because that's what keep you motivated. Because then I'm not doing it for me.
Yeah,
I'm doing it for
man.
somebody else.
Well, speaking of not doing it for yourself,
Yep.
what does Kiley Team Summers do for fun? Like you got to step away to recharge the batteries. Auntie O refers to it as being in your flow. Shauna Rounds referred to it as being in your zone. I call it juju. But what are you doing to make sure you protect that creative space so you can go out there and keep taking those shots?
That's a very good question. Here lately, I've been, I go to the gym. Actually, me and my wife doing this fitness competition, and so I got a lot of gym time. In the morning, 4:00 in the morning, I'm in the gym, right? Just kind of get in my element, in my zone. So I do that every day. But that's really it. It's no time when you, as an entrepreneur, it's no time. You know what I'm saying? You got to get up and you got to grind. But that's the time where I can get away from the business. I can get away from my wife. I can get away from my daughter. I can have my, I use the morning time to have my devotion, right? I get my gospel going. And I ain't the most spiritual guy in the world, right? But everybody needs, in my opinion, needs Jesus. So that's the time I get my Jesus. I got my gospel going. Then I come back, shower. Then I, get my Bible verse. And so that's the time I use for me. So some may look at that. That's not fun, but that's what keep me
It's your
in
version
my
of
zone.
fun.
Exactly. And then outside of that, I'm, not only being an entrepreneur all day long, I'm a father and dad all day long. And so my daughter, all those 20 no's I heard, my daughter heard those no's with me. She was right there in the room with me from, 6 months till we started taking her out the house to now. My daughter has been with me. And I pitched it. Every big bank is probably in this city. Every small bank in this city. My daughter was right there. So being able to be by my daughter's side, to give her that exposure so we can expand her expectations, that's fun to me.
Man, look, we're expanding expectations.
The
over
mic
here.
is hot.
And trying to let these people know. And of course, we want to expand your business here at the Sphere. So guess what? You've got some advertising opportunities. This particular portion of the show is sponsored by us right here at the Sphere. So are you starting your business or looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at the Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spreaker, and a whole lot more. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States, as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or send us an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv. Man, when I tell you the importance of protecting that creative space that you do in the morning, I think a lot of entrepreneurs miss the idea that their biggest weapon is themselves. And if you're not whole, if you're not motivated, and for those that are listening right now, you're an entrepreneur, if you don't take that time to sow back into self and protect your mindset, protect your emotional state, then how can you ever expect to give your all on the line each and every time that it's required? You've got to stay full. So make sure you're protecting that creative space. Make sure you're sowing into yourself, whether that's with a personal day here and there or by carving out a little time in the morning time to get some physical fitness in, some devotion in, some spiritual meditation in, things that are destined to take you to that next level. So speaking of next level, Speaking of destiny, speaking of legacy, all the key words that you're hearing at the table that have power. What's going on with you? What's going on with Spendebt 5, 10, 20 years from now? Talk to us. Take us to the year 2030. What's happening?
Let me give you the vision, right now today. The vision for the balance of this year. Right now, we've released the first beta 1.0. You go to spendebt.com, check us out, sign up. We want to begin to raise capital because I've bootstrapped as far as I can bootstrap.
You can't go anymore.
The strap is weak.
The strap is weak.
the
I'm to
boot
the
is
white
worn.
meat. I'm to the white meat.
I don't have any more laces on that boot.
Yeah. The soul is worn.
Yeah, the soul.
My big toe is hanging out.
Yeah. So so we maxed out on the bootstrapping, and so now it's time to get to the next level. Next level, we need to commercialize our product. So we're looking for investment. So that's kind of the current state of kind of how we're going to get to 2030, as you put it. But really, we want to grow this company as a business to consumer model, right? We started with student loan debt, obviously, but we want to open this thing up to other consumer debts. And right now, currently, we are working against it. We have some people on our platform are paying credit card debt off or paying car loans off. So we want to open this thing all the way up, but be able to provide a commercialized product in the form of iOS and Android, and build out a team, have some some marketing folks on the team as well. So that's why we need the money. But as we think about it, we started as a basis of B2C, business to consumer product. Then we want to go to B2B, right? And then once we amass the B2B kind of that business process, put that in place, B2G is next, business to government. So we have a strategic platform to get all of those and manage all of those industries or areas of marketplace. But when we think about what's happening in the year 2030, we're going to build the company. We're going to build Spendebt to last the test of time. Right, we'll take on any offers entertain any offers along the way, but we're gonna build a big company, and that's our idea. To build a big company, we want to hire people, we want to give people opportunities, we want to help millions of people across the world pay off debt, or get down to net zero as close as much as we can. Give back, we believe in giving back, so we'll provide opportunities where we give back and help people out. And the end goal for my wife and I is to become investors, right? To find people like it's myself or it's like you guys to invest into, and not have to go through the rigmarole. Who to ask the question. How do we provide that opportunity, right? It is a business. It is risky, but how do we encourage more people to achieve their dreams, right? I think they will do the work. How do we, create that acceleration by giving them the resources they need to grow? And so 2030, hopefully I'll be in that seat where I can return some of those checks that I received back, right?
Reciprocity.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the only way we're going to provide legacy.
That's it.
Right? And so that's what I think 2030 looks like for me on a personal side. But as a company, I believe that, we'll build it for the long term. But if we get bought out, we get bought out. But, we're going to build it for the long term.
I'm with that.
I mean, because that buyout ain't going to be no little, drop in the bucket. So,
long
I mean, we
term.
talking,
legacy.
right.
Legacy. I heard it earlier. Black excellence.
Yeah.
So,
Let's hit it, G.
we understand the concept of business to gov, business to business, business to consumer, and those plans that are in place. We understand the toiling it took, the tutelage that it took to actually put those implementations and processes in place on a financial tech-based app. The fintech market can be very cumbersome, to say the least. We understand the 20 plus no's that you got, which opened that door for that one yes to set this thing in motion for that financial backing, that processing. We understand how you had to walk away from your job to actually get the vision so that you can then make it plain. Having a great wife by your side to sow into you, to say, hey, this is what we need to do. But as I rewind the tape on everything that you've dropped at this table and I take it all back, I'm taking that back with a Mr. Magic eraser. And let's erase all of those things that you've been through, but leave you with the memory. And instead of you bootstrapping, let's start you with some seed money. Tell us today how you would build Spendebt now, this time around, with the proper seed money, knowing everything that you know.
Oh, man. That's a, man, I got to wake up. I'm looking for that check. Where's the check? Before I answer that question, I want to say this. I needed these lessons over the last 2 or 3 years because I wouldn't have the knowledge, know-how, connections, whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't have that. And that's more valuable than money itself.
It's more valuable than the end result.
Exactly.
The journey.
Because I feel like, again, if I close down shop today, you're gonna see me again.
Right.
Because I
You got the playbook.
I got the playbook. And that's what we're missing. But if I would have had the check in the beginning, if I would have had the $500,000, I think the time it took to get to my first beta launch, my first beta launch wouldn't have been a first beta launch. It would have been more like, hey, we commercialize and we already have partnerships, contracts in place.
Yeah.
I'd more than likely be doing business with the government. I would have got to my third strategic plank, right? Within the first year and a half, in my mind, right? That's how money could accelerate the process, right? When I think about, companies, other financial technology companies, not to give any names, but they went to 650,000 users in short 8 months after they launched. And a third of their growth was done on Facebook, right? But they got huge backing, right? A few years down the line, they got a $30 million investment from PayPal. Almost in the same space, in the microtransaction space, it's the same space I'm in. They were validated. It's a father and son, and father and 2 brothers, right? What's the difference between me and them? It's no different. They put their pants on just like me.
One leg at a time.
One leg at a time. But they had the money to get there. They had those resources, and that's half the battle, if not all the battle. But I'm very grateful for where I am, and I wouldn't take anything back that I've learned, because there's no stopping me at this point. I need to continue support of my wife. Definitely God, just giving me the vision, and being on a show like this to get the opportunity to tell my story. Hopefully there's somebody out there that's listening who want to take the leap of faith, just don't know how, just don't know what, but you find enough courage to do so. Do it. We heard Will Smith say, if you're gonna fail fast.
Do it fast.
Fail fast and fail often, because those failures are not failures. There's really lessons to get you to where you are destined to be. And so I'm just grateful for where I am. This is not the coming out party by any stretch of the imagination, but we're blessed to be here, and we're blessed to continue to learn on what to do next.
I feel that, my G. Well, you know what type of party this is at this table? This is a party where we, Mr. Kiley Summers, would like to officially coin you, good sir, a startup master. So please let anyone and everyone who's watching us right now, or they're listening to this in their vehicle, let them know where they can reach you, as well as reach the app and become a beta tester.
All right, it's Kiley Summers here. As KG said, the pitch king, 28,000 that is, in cash over the last 2 years. But you can find me on LinkedIn at Kiley Summers. It's Kiley, Kiley Summers with an S. Or you can find us at Spendebt.com. That is Spendebt.com, Spendebt.com. And we can help you spend away your debt one micropayment at a time. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. And if you want to just reach out to me directly, you can reach me at Kiley.Summers@Spendebt.com.
There it is. KG, where can the good people reach you at?
My good peeps, you can catch me, my YouTubers, at KOG Speaks TV, as well as LinkedIn, the Gram, and the book. That's KOG Speaks. And if you take a look down below, you'll see how to spell my name. So you can catch me on my personal side on Facebook as well as IG. What about you, G?
Man, look, hey, 1st and 15, I'm at the corner store.
No,
man, you can
no.
reach me at GameStop
No,
when I'm
man.
trying to get
Oh,
I'm
man.
just letting you know where I might be at.
man.
But look, good folks, when y'all trying to reach out to me, please hit me up. That's G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with a Z across all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. If you have any questions about what we do here at the show, shoot us an email, startupmasters@thesphere.tv. And of course, you can reach us across all social media platforms at the Sphere TV. Use our hashtag StartupMasters. This has been another electrifying episode.
Another one.
We will see you all next time. Take care.
Peace.
Peace.